Hello again, friends. I finished a few books this month. We are October 10th, and I've finished 4 books so far, almost 5. So I figured it was time to update on what I've read so far. The first book we have is called Something More. My library brought it to me. I thought it was adorable. It's a girl entering high school, and she is autistic. She finds out she's autistic, and that's why she's a little bit different than everyone else. And it's her navigating high school, being autistic and being interested in boys. And she has a guy friend that she makes and a guy that she is infatuated with when she meets. And it was really cute. I don't personally have any experience with high school because I was homeschooled, so I don't know how closely it depicts high school situations or even being autistic, because I'm not autistic either. But I really enjoyed this story and would recommend Something More. The next one we finished was, my son picked a book with a face on the cover, and he picked Ophelia because that was basically one of the only ones that we had a face on the cover. This was a reimagining of Shakespeare. I don't know anything really about Shakespeare stuff. For most of the book, I was like, this is a rough going. This is kind of depressing almost. But it ended on a good note, and then I looked up kind of what Shakespeare's story was about, and I'm pretty sure this ended a lot better than Shakespeare's did. So I enjoyed this. Good read. And it was the font was pretty big, and it was pretty quick, fairly quick to me. So I enjoyed it. Ophelia. The next one I requested from my library. Every time I go on vacation, someone dies. This was cute. This is the kind of mystery I can do. I can't do them psychological things. Like, this was kind of light and fluffy mystery, and I very much enjoyed it. This girl accidentally witnessed a crime on a vacation, and she came home and was like journaling about it, and then ended up turning it into a book and got picked up for a book. And so she writes these like murder mystery books, and she's going on tour, and some crazy things start happening while she's on tour for her latest book. People are having like near-death experiences, and so they're trying to figure out why all that's going down. So it's like books and book tours, and she's on a book tour with several authors, and then there's like murder mystery going on at the same time. But it wasn't ever like nerve-wracking to me or like getting me anxious. So that was good. I very much enjoyed it. Highly recommend. The last one we finished, I actually finished it this morning. It was Tessa Bailey's Too Hot to Handle. Tessa Bailey has good love stories, but she writes a lot of... There's a lot of smut in her books. And I don't know if it's just me but I feel like her more recent ones are getting dirtier and dirtier, and it's not good. Not for me. I don't feel comfortable reading that. So I did read this one. There was smut in it. We skipped over pages so we wouldn't have to read that. I read this as part of a video I plan to put out in the near future. So I had to push through it for the video. But I don't know if we're going to keep reading Tessa Bailey, because, like I said, too much smut going on. So, 4 so far. I'm hoping to read at least 6 more, but It might be more than that. I mean, I hope it's more than that, but it needs to be at least 6 more for my goals. It is October 18th now, and we have 4 more books to talk about. So let's get to it. The first one is The Mirror and the Light. This is historical fiction. It was good. I enjoyed the way it ended. This was the 3rd book in a trilogy. It was very historical facts more than historical fiction, if you ask me. But it was really great. Learned some new things because I did not know how Thomas Cromwell's end of his life happened. You know, I knew a lot of what he was involved in during Henry VIII's marriages and stuff like that, but I didn't know the later in life stuff. So this was a great read. Let me talk to you about this one. This one is probably, I think, the been on my TBR for the longest. It was one of the first books that my husband bought me when I started getting back into reading. So it's been sitting on my shelf for probably about 4 years. And now having read it, I'm so upset that I waited so long to read it. This book was amazing. I don't even know how to describe it. I don't like to cry, especially not in books and movies. I hate that. But this book made me cry, and I didn't get angry with it making me cry. This was such a unique book in anything that I've read so far. Amelia, her family says that the second-born daughters in their family are cursed. They will never get married. And she's accepted that. She's just going to be single for the rest of her life. While her Aunt Poppy is also a second-born daughter. She calls up Amelia and let's go to Italy and we're going to try to break this curse. Now, Aunt Poppy is 79 years old and she wants to be in Italy for her 80th birthday because she claims that she is going to meet the love of her life there from 50 years ago and 50, 60 years ago, and they are going to break the curse on the second-born daughters. And their whole adventure, their getting to know each other and stuff, because Amelia's grandma did not want her to go with Aunt Poppy. She said that Aunt Poppy was evil and a problem maker, and she did not like her grandma was very controlling over her life. And so she just decided to go against her grandma and find out who Aunt Poppy was. And the whole adventure of them getting to know each other, going all over the place through Italy, and I don't know, the whole adventure. It was amazing. It brought me to tears. It had a twist in it that I was just like, oh my gosh, this was a great book. And I'm so sad that I waited 4 years to read this book. You guys, read this book. All right. Crazy Rich Asians. I've seen people talk about this a lot on YouTube and TikTok and things like that, but I never picked it up. I got this one at a library book sale, I think it was, and I was like, let me try it out. It was not a bad book at all, but y'all, these are crazy rich people, and the stories and the problems they have, obviously, I don't relate to at all. So it was a little bit difficult, in my opinion, to get into it fully, but some people might like it. Some people probably really enjoy it because I've seen people talk about it, but for me, it just wasn't the case. It was not one of my favorite books, especially having come off of the Star-Crossed Sisters of Tuscany. That one was so amazing that this one just didn't live up to coming off of that one, you know? So, but it was still decent. Last book I'm going to talk about today, and I think this is book number 8 for October, is The Diabolik. I picked up this one and the second one called The Empress, I think it's called, at a library book sale because I thought the cover looked cool. And y'all, this was a this was a flop for me, and I'm not going to read the second one. I don't even know how to describe it. It's like a different world. I don't know, do I call her a girl? She's not a robot, she's not a girl, but she's like, they call them diabolics, and they're like super enhanced people, but they're not, they say they're not human, they're not robots. I don't even know what exactly they are, but she was created to protect the senator's daughter, and when the senator does something he shouldn't, the emperor calls the senator's daughter to go and see him, and they know that this is not going to be good, like something bad's about to happen. So instead of sending the senator's daughter, they send a diabolic whose name is Nemesis, and she goes in her place to try and protect her from the emperor, but things didn't go too well. Anyway, the whole thing for me just wasn't wonderful. Wasn't enough for me to stick around for a second one or even the third one that I don't even own. So I am DNFing this series and not going to continue with it. That is the 8th book of this month. Okay, next book we have to talk about is Love at First Book. I requested this from my library. Didn't really know much about what was going on in this, but like, it's a book about books. So you can't go wrong, right? Now, this was a little bit more emotional than I thought it was going to be. It was a great little love story, and I adored it. But there was definitely some more emotional things in it that I did not expect, and it made me cry. And I hate to cry. So I'm a little conflicted, I guess you could say. But at the end of the day, even though it made me cry, it was a great book. I definitely recommend it. Emerald Isle? Emerald Isle? I'm pretty sure it's Ireland. Anyway, it's really good. Definitely recommend. The next one we have, I don't have a physical copy. I got it from Libby on my Kindle. It's called Lonely Hearts Day. It's from Cassie West. It's a little novella that she put out. Really cute. It's like, there's only like 4 chapters in it, and each chapter is a different year of this girl's high school educational career. As each year is like, it starts in her freshman year, and it's on Valentine's Day, and there's a big Valentine's Day party for some of her classmates, but you have to be a couple to be able to go, and she was upset by that. So she made a, not necessarily anti-Valentine's Day party, but it's kind of what it was for the single people that wanted to go. And the first year it was real small. It was just her and her best friend, who's a guy, and like 12 other people or something. It was small. And then every year it starts getting bigger, and you can see different things going on in her life through the years and stuff. And it was cute. And obviously you kind of know that from the beginning that like her best friend is in love with her, and she loves her best friend. She just doesn't realize that she loves her best friend. So it was adorable. Another hit for Cassie West. I gotta figure out how to say that lady's name. Okay, the next one we have is The Breakup Pact. I bought this one in Colorado when we were on vacation. It sounded cute to me. They both suffer very dramatic breakups, I guess, because it was plastered all over the internet. They went like TikTok, YouTube famous because of the way that their significant others ended things with them. And to save face, they decided to fake date each other, and they became like revenge daters or something like that they called it. I don't remember, but it was very cute. It definitely touched on some emotional things as well. Not as heavy as Love at First book was, but it was a little emotional. This is a second chance romance kind of thing. Like they crushed on each other in high school because they knew each other in high school, but nothing really ever came of it. Bad timing, I guess. And then when they see each other now, things are not so fake in the dating world. Definitely enjoyed this one. Would recommend. The next one we had was The Christmas Tree Farm by Melody Carlson Lighting. This is a Christian author. I've read a few things by her before, and I've loved everything so far. I enjoyed this one. It was really quick. My library only had large print, so it's large print. It was like less than 250 pages, and so it was really quick read. Super cute. This was also a second chance romance. She actually had a little bit of some of a relationship with her neighbor when she was in high school, and things just didn't work out, and so they see each other again when she moves back home and things get started. I adored this book. Go find you some Melody Carlson. The last one I have to talk about, Frostfire. So this book and the second book in this series was in a mystery box I bought at a library book sale. I think I paid like $2 or $3 for this box of YA books, and there was like 50 books in it. And I had no idea what half the stuff was. I kept some of it because the covers look cute or, whatever. But I wanted to try this one. My son picked it for me with this month's TBR prompts because he said, this girl thinks she's the main character. Whatever that means. But she is the main character. Anyway, I do not think I'm reading the second book. This book, nothing happened. Like literally nothing happened. It was talking and talking and talking, and nothing happened in this book. Absolutely nothing. I pushed so hard, like I struggled almost the entire time with this book, like waiting for it to pick up, waiting for it to go somewheres. And there was one night I spent like 3 hours reading the last bit of this book, like the last 150 pages of this book. And when I finished, I was like, what the heck was that? Nothing happened. Like what was the purpose of this? Like I was so angry. Like why did I waste my time reading this and nothing happened? So yeah, I don't think I'm reading the second one at all. No. We're DNF in that series. We have 3 more books to talk about that I finished in October. Do not ask me how. I finished 16 books this month. I haven't read that much in since the beginning of the year. I don't know what happened. I'm not complaining, but I honestly could not tell you. I can't tell you how I ended up with 16 books this month. I have no idea. And anyway, I have 3 more to talk about, so let's talk about it. Ransom My Heart. This one, it was strange. It's supposed to be like Mia Thermopolis from The Princess Diaries wrote this with the help of Meg Cabot. It was not necessarily a bad story. It was strange, the fact that a fictional character wrote a story. Like, I don't know. It was strange. So I probably won't keep this, and I highly doubt I will ever read a Meg Cabot again. The next one I read, my bookmobile brought me, or the library, Elves, Evergreens, and Evidence. Never heard of this one. Super short, really quick. I think it was under 200 pages. So it took me 2 days to get through this one. It was super quick, little cozy mystery. Apparently this is like the 34th book in a series, which I didn't have a clue about. this girl, I don't remember her name, Mae West. Mae West runs a campground, and they're having their Christmas fall. They're having a Christmas festival, I guess you would call it. A winter festival. They're having a winter festival, and they find a guy in the barn, and he is dead. And they got to figure out who did it and why they did it. And I'm not usually like I don't like to be scared. Let's put it that way. I don't like to be scared. I think it's nuts to make yourself scared and not be able to sleep. This was not like that at all. This was not very detail oriented, I guess you would say. I really don't know how to describe it except for the fact that it was not scary. It didn't scare me at all. And I really enjoyed it. So I may look into other little mysteries she has, especially if they're under 200 pages. That's some quick, cute reads. So I enjoyed that one. The last one I read was Maggie Moves On. This is a Lucy Score book, and I've heard of a lot of Lucy Score stuff, but never read anything by her, and I never heard of this one. I picked it up at Books A Million because it was so cheap, and I figured why not try it out. Maggie is a YouTuber. She travels to different places. She buys a home. She fixes it up and makes like episodes while she's fixing it up and puts them on YouTube. And then she resells them and she moves on to a new place and repeats the process. And she moves to Idaho. She finds this big old beautiful home. It's like, I think they said it's like 13-bedroom home. It's a huge home. Oh, it's a Victorian mansion in Idaho. She buys it and she's fixing it up. She hires a landscaper who she thinks is good looking, and he's extremely flirty. He falls for her right away. She keeps telling him nothing can happen because as soon as this house is done, I am moving on to the next one, just like I've always done. But he keeps working his magic and flirting and asking her out and all this stuff. And there was a little bit of a mystery in it, like a surprise mystery also. And it was really cute. I might have to look at some of her other reads. Definitely recommend. That's the last book for October. That is a total of 16 books, I believe. And I don't know how that happened, but it is what it is. We have 2 months left to 2024. I have already started working on goals and ideas and stuff for 2025. I'm kind of looking forward to what 2025 will hold. That's it for what we read in October. Remember that God loves you and I love you and you are important.